Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. So, got a notification this morning that Palo Alto Networks is moving up, and so we thought we'd come check it out. We got this and a few other things that I'm getting notifications on that we're going to go over. So, Palo Alto Networks is definitely one of them. Recovering here. Um, there we go, 182. So, we do see a level 2 data here at like 199, at 200, a large sell off. So, um, this looks to be a cap with this much volume interested in selling right here. So, uh, this is a huge rise. So, we're going to go off of our how many that we own. Let's see, Palo Alto. We're going to go off of this, and we're because of this high condition on both of these, it's really just re-entering the trend. So I don't want to dump everything, and it's very much an average price across this previous trading section. So I don't want to get out too early, and then this is what we're looking forward to, and then we're not in it. But I will be okay with letting go of a couple because we did buy below this down here to recover some of this time that we lost. So maybe we'll come right here. Basically, if this was to go straight up into my sell circle, it would be huge. Where I'm expecting more of a pattern before it gets there. So we'll come back behind here and do like maybe two. We'll just get rid of two and then give it time to work. Sometimes I would sell this because of these two high conditions and wait for it to come back down here. But because of this previous volume that's all kind of above that, it's less likely. The odds are a little bit less likely that it's going to drop down below that again. So this is a good channel, but it's also a bullish trend. So this is kind of a wait and see situation. It's a little bit of a big jump, but I do think it was probably going to come back down a little bit before it continues to rise. Yeah, because my average is 182, which is actually right about here. I think I'm just going to let this one sit. I don't really want to get out too early. And if it was at the top of these previous highs over here, I would be a little bit more interested, which is around 207. But this is still kind of, we're just letting it work. So this is a recovery, so we're just going to be patient with it. I've been looking for this sell for a while on the future side. Was looking for it here and then again here, and it just keeps going. So, but we're looking at a nice rounded off area. If you go out to the all the way out to the daily, it's a little too early to put a buy stop, but I just don't really want to lose anything on this. So if you go out to the daily, it's been high for a while right here on the relative strength, and also the MACD is really high. If you look at this compared to the previous, little bit of history on this, it's the daily is very high. So high there, high in the 4 hour, starting to turn back down, and high in the 1 hour. So something tells me that this is just due a big drop. We're starting to see it finally. We don't know how much it's going to go. So actually, this one went into the negative a little bit because it didn't keep going here, and then this one also went into the negative a little bit here. So that's why I put a stop, because I just don't want to keep trying negatives. We want to get in and let it ride. Preferably, we would see a nice drop down into this zone in 7,200 range. This is super high right now. We've came all the way up to 73.88. So I feel like it should settle back down in here. So we're gonna see if that'll finally start to. we're going to see if this might be the start to the dip that I've been looking for. And if so, we can ride that back down. More on futures later. I'll probably make a video on it. That one's already up 20. But I don't need a stop here yet, really. The stop should be before either here or here. 7,400. So we're going to try to wait at least another hour. Maybe another candle will print down lower. And then that will justify this stop. And then the next hour or two before we ever move that stop down. So hopefully that doesn't get stopped out, and we can ride it at basically zero risk. So other things I want to talk about real quick, things that are moving. I got a International Seaways notification this morning that it's still going up. So again, if you're in it, good for you. It's doing really well. It's at a point that I already reduced back here, but it's obviously at a point that it's double tapped without hitting the bottom. So up and then halfway down, then up again. So the price action just kept rising instead of hitting a bottom. So yeah, you're doing really well, but this is the point where I would be cautious and definitely be entering some stops in the $80 range, because minimum, because it could very easily get back down into this trend, and you would just, everything that you looked like profit, it would be out. So International Seaways got a great dividend, so it's looking good. S&P is up. I think I'm going to go ahead actually and put like maybe 3 right here. At something like $10 maybe, because I feel like we'll be able to buy this back. So you basically got to ask yourself, like, at what point does me borrowing, like, since this is a margin account, and I'm about to release a video about margin trading, but if this is reaching the top and the odds are that it's going to go down, why do I need to hang on to this capital? Like, the amount of that I'm bought into this doesn't make sense if I'm borrowing the funds. It makes a lot more sense when it's at its lows. It doesn't make as much sense when it's at its highs. So I could recoup some of my borrowed funds here. We'll just do 3, and then we'll do 10. $10 trail, which is about right there, 727. So if we dip below that, we'll just get rid of 3. Not a huge deal, just reducing. All right, so we talked about Apple down here whenever it was in the middle of the trend, and it's finally reached this sell circle. I've got rid of 2 here, and it's definitely touching the top. It's touching the top here. All right, so I have 5 left, and I'm end up putting a 2 trail behind it down here, and it's continuing to go up. So that's trailing this price, and it's locking in profits as it goes up. So whenever it dips, it'll sell me out of 2. Then I'll just have 3 left. I'm happy with the amount that it's up into the circle, so we're gonna take the quantity up to 3. And if it got, like, say, top of the circle or top of the trend, I would probably put in a trail for 2 or just 1 maybe, and go ahead and reduce that further. Nvidia had me wishing that I had more contracts sold up in the circle here. Whenever it did this initial jump, I did have a couple sell here, but I would kind of wish that I had more quantity let go of, because you definitely could have got it back here for a pretty decent price. So that's 206, that's 190, 195. So yeah, a good $11 difference in stock price. So by the time you up that a few quantities, you're you're getting $20 to $40 off of just this little jump right here. Just went with 2 to 4 shares. So it's looking pretty good. I did go ahead and put a trail stop in case it does this again and continues up to the top of the trend. We'll get rid of a couple more. And Amazon, I think Amazon just had some great news, and it actually affected UPS and FedEx negatively. They're going to start offering like public shipping, like the same as FedEx or UPS would. So it definitely negatively impacted the other cargo companies. So they had this huge jump, but I think you got to ask yourself kind of like how far does that mean? Like people knew that it was coming, right? They knew that it was going to open with that news, and then it started rising, and then more people started finding out, and it kept rising. And where's the cap? Where's it going to top out at? You start to see a little rounded off section here, so it's sort of a little sign that it could be it. It could keep going. Nobody really knows, but I'm going to go ahead and put my trail stop there. I feel like that's a good growth on Amazon, and I think at this point, being this high on both of these, this is a super just smooth MACD line that's curving. It's also above 10, so everything's just really high, and I'd be willing to go ahead and take this $70 back to my account and then wait for a return on Amazon. Okay, so Pfizer just hit a all-time bottom. So I went ahead and 30 of my shares went in, which is not a lot because they're only $26 a share. But I definitely just got back in to Pfizer, which I'm excited about because they have a good dividend. And while you wait, you're just getting paid to wait. It's at kind of in the 40s on the relative strength. So we're waiting for like a bottom to really get in heavier. So this is just like a mid-level entry. Something like $800, I think. So if whatever you have set in your head for like how much you want to spend per stock, if you have a cap, like a hard cap set in your mind, this, it depends on where you believe Pfizer is going. But because of the history of the chart, we've seen Pfizer get really tall and then also dip down a lot. I'm not super confident that it's just going to be a straight up growth for the rest of its few years. We've seen a lot of struggle in Pfizer, a lot of sideways trading. So I'm happy with its dividend, but also I'm not just trying to buy like $5,000 worth, which is like my hard cap at this point, because it could very well be hanging out down here for a long time. So $800 here, is how I see it. $1,000, $1,000, just level up my buys as it comes back down, or as it enters these lower lows, because I don't just fully trust this trend. And the reason being is because this trend is actually kind of you see the convergence here. You can find the lowest 1, 2, 3 points, 4, 5. It just continues a really strong trend on all these points. And then also the top hits 1, 2, 3 on resistance, and those are converging. So anytime you have like a converging trend, obviously it can't withstand forever, right? It's gonna get into this zone where it's really tight, and then it's gonna have to have a breakout. It's either gonna break up or break down. My gamble with Pfizer would be that it would be a breakdown, because I don't see that it's a strong growing stock forever. So yeah, we're in a little bit. We'll get in more and more as it goes down. We're still waiting up here. We're glad we got out of Broadcom a little bit. We're actually going to set another one. you know what, because of this is a perfect, like, coming back down. This is also perfect coming back down. I'm just going to sell one right now. We'll put it right under that sell stop and then just submit that. We have, let's see. We have a sell circle here. I mean, it could be more like that realistically. So I would say that it tapped it right there. If you slide it down to the accurate time frame, you know, it tapped it for sure. If you had a stop behind it, it would be about right here. So I'm happy with that. It's not completely busting through it. That's a little bit extra to sell something right here because it's sort of close to the middle of the trend, but also due to these two signals right here, I would just say that it's likely because of these two that it could come back down to a lower range. So yeah, I'll sell one here, and then I'd be interested in getting fully back in right here because I feel like they're a pretty solid company that's going to keep going. And with Visa, we were up maybe $200 right here because it got above my average and then it dipped immediately back down. With a straight up punch like this and then this huge gap from 310 to 338, anytime there's like a $30 or $40 rise like that, you can kind of take the side of, let's just go ahead and sell that right there, because the likelihood of it just like shooting in a straight up line is kind of unlikely. I've definitely seen things punch straight up like that and just sell it immediately and then wait for it to balance out and then continue. When it balances out like this, then you just get right back in, and there's about a 20-point lead right there. So definitely should have sold this at like 200 profit and then grabbed it down here again, and as it would continue to rise, that would be like another 300. Didn't do that, of course. Didn't. Maybe I forgot how many I had. Maybe I reduced like 2 shares, but yeah, you could definitely do more. But I think I'm just gonna wait around and wait for the overall to rise up with that. Royal Caribbean is also a big jump this morning. I think they just had a good positive earnings call, so we're waiting on that as well. And that's pretty much it for this morning. Still having my coffee, but those are the first things that I noticed. If we make any more moves and sells or buys, we'll record them. Other than that, we're waiting on the rain to stop so we can go outside. So a little bit slower of a video today, but hopefully we have something more exciting for you coming up soon, and we'll continue to make those profits. So stick around. Glad you're following along, and we'll catch you on the next one.